Hi, everybody. My name is Rafa Lombardino, and this is Translation Confessional. Before we get started, let me tell you a bit about Cave Day, which leads group-focused sessions for a worldwide community every day on Zoom. As translators, we were already used to working from home. However, since the COVID-19 pandemic hit, our home office has not quite been the same, has it? Maybe your roommate or spouse is working from home too, and your kids may be having distance learning sessions during the day. Between that and our phones, emails, texts, chats, notifications, cravings, feelings, many of us are having a hard time focusing. But in order to do our work and meet our deadlines, we need to find a way to hit the flow state. Cave Day is like a group fitness class, but for work. A trained guide leads check-ins, deep work sprints, and energizing breaks. Cave Day members say that they can get 2.5 times more work done while they're inside the cave, and many finish their entire day's work in only 4 hours. Wouldn't it be wonderful if we could avoid distractions, stop procrastinating, and get all our translation projects done in a half day's work? What would you do with the rest of your day after you had a chance to become focused and productive that way? If you want to find out, join the world's most focused community. Translation Confessional listeners can try a free 3-hour session inside the cave. Visit caveday.org using the promo code TRANSLATION, all caps, and become more focused and productive today. Translation Memory Management. As promised, I'm coming back with another cat-focused episode. And no, I'm not talking about the animal. If you haven't listened to last week's episode yet, check it out to get a broad idea of what cat tools are all about. And don't forget to check the link I left here for you so you can watch some short videos that explain how cat tools are extremely helpful for people like us who translate day in and day out. Today, I wanted to talk about how to manage your translation memory, or TM for short. That's a crucial task if you want to make sure your translations are consistent every time, especially when collaborating with long-term clients. It's best if you plan ahead before you create your very first TM when you start working on a cat tool. That way, you can ensure continuity and avoid any issues exporting and importing content or merging databases down the road. Well, let me take a step back. As I mentioned before, cat tools don't do the work for you. They're computer-assisted translations, so you must give cats every information they need for them to actually help you. With that in mind, the first thing you need to do is make sure you have your language pairs set up clearly. Some tools actually ask you what your language pair is when you first install it, which is very helpful if you only work from your B language into your A language. It really simplifies things. However, if you're bidirectional or have more than one source language, you need to make sure you're selecting the correct source and target languages every time you convert a new file to translate it using a cat tool. For example, I translate English from different locations into Brazilian Portuguese. I may receive a document that is American, British, Australian, etc., and I'll always translate it into Brazilian Portuguese, no matter what. Regardless of where the source document comes from, I just let my cat tool know the source language is English, and it gets ready to label each source segment using the respective 2-letter language code, EN. I could choose EN-US for American English or EN-GB for British English. However, if I just tell my cat to use EN every time the source language is English, I increase my chances of finding matches between what I'm working on right now and something I translated in the past and that was originally written in English. Now, the story is completely different when it comes to letting my CAT tool know what the target language will be. Because I only translate into Brazilian Portuguese, I can't simply select Portuguese as my target language. I have to specify the proper localization. So the CAT tool can record all my translations under PT-BR for Brazil. And the main reason I do that is because I do work with a colleague from Portugal who translates into European Portuguese. So I need to separate my translations from her translations when clients have a need for both localizations. Whatever she works on gets recorded on our TM as PT-PT to indicate that it's suitable for Portugal. Before we continue, I wanted to tell you a bit about Swordfish. I have been using it as my main CAT tool since 2008, and it has really helped me improve my productivity as a translator. I separated my translation memories per client, and I have a multilingual glossary that I'm constantly updating in my 4 working languages. Version 4 just came out, and I'm blown away by how streamlined the entire process has become. I've noticed that the response time is much faster. If you'd like to give Swordfish a try, go to this webpage, bit.ly/tc-swordfish. Once again, the webpage is bit.ly/tc-swordfish, Swordfish. Hope you like it. I know translators who organize their memories by field of expertise. So they have one TM for medical, one for business, one for advertising, for example. However, I personally find that fields of expertise are too much of a gray area for me. I could be translating a business brochure that contains something about EHS, which relates to environment, health, and safety. Or I could be translating something related to information technology, and there's a user agreement section in the middle of it, which could be considered legal in nature. So what I chose to do is separate my translation memories per client. That way, whenever a client sends me a project, I select the TM that I already dedicated to them, where I'll find all the translations I worked on for them in the past. Besides, separating my memories by client also prevents me from potentially breaking a non-disclosure agreement. In other words, if I translated for both Coke and Pepsi, for example, and had a translation memory set up for the food and beverages industry, I could end up disclosing confidential information about one company to the other if I ever had to send a copy of my TM to either of them. Now, I can apply a memory from one client to a project coming from another client. I had to do it before when working on projects about 2 different companies in the same segment. But as long as I only pull potential matches, that is, similarities between documents written by client A and client B, and keep recording my translation to the correct database, the one dedicated to the actual client I'm translating for, that way, everything stays separate and I don't get in between 2 competitors. Send me an email at rlombardino@wordawareness.com or leave a voice message on my Anchor page. If I get enough feedback and voice messages, I can go back to the subject and post a special podcast episode with everyone's opinion on this very same theme. By the way, my Anchor page is anchor.fm/translation-confessional. I look forward to hearing from you. Stay tuned for weekly episodes and subscribe to Translation Confessional through your favorite podcast app.